Hey everyone, welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 311, being recorded on July 30th, 2014. I'm Ryan Shrout.
Jeremy Hellstrom.
Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Malventano.
It's been a week. It means we have to come back and talk to you guys again. It's a Wednesday night. This is what we do.
Darn.
We record this show on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And it's at pcper.com/live, which you can join us there. And in particular today, it will be an interesting day to do so. By the way, if you want to be reminded, if you want to be reminded when we are going to go live, you can go to a wonderful webpage called pcper.com/subscribe. If you do so, you get this wonderful page that is our website, and it has a little form on the page, name and email, and a submit button. And all you do is you fill that out, and you get added to a mailing list where we send out emails about our live streamed events. That's all we use it for. We don't spam you with other stuff as much as Alan would like us to.
Josh Tech.
Yeah, with lots of links to Josh Tech. Instead, we only use it for live streams, which we will have quite a few additional live streams other than just our podcast coming up throughout August and September. I will tease that little bit at the very least. So we have that going for us. Also worth noting here, later in the show, if you look down at the rundown over there. Over there in the bottom, you see EVGA. It kind of says EVGA Contest. You're going to want to stick around. We're going to have an EVGA Contest for podcast listeners, and part of it will only be accessible from people who are watching live. So you'll only be able to win if you're watching live. So part of it, at least. So pay attention and stay tuned for all of that. Now let's get into our content for this week because we had quite a bit. First thing we're going to do is talk with Alan about the Crucial M550. This is a full capacity roundup of this SSD.
Yep.
Not a whole lot really necessarily to talk about because it's a controller we've kind of seen before.
We looked at the same controller in the MX100. But where the MX100, you had to buy it in the half a terabyte capacity to get really the full speed of that controller. The M550, they use smaller capacity dies and more of them. So as you get to the smaller sizes.
When you say that you're using more smaller capacity die, like how many... You're talking about the dies in the actual flash chip.
The dies in the flash chips.
Okay.
So they're able to keep... You want to keep the die count higher so that there's the ability to spread the data across more dies.
Okay.
Like the way that works is you can actually write to one specific die within a package. And the data goes into that buffer, but you have to wait for that to write to the flash
before you
a
can
certain
send
amount of time.
another...
Yeah. So then if there's other dies available, right? Not so much the amount of packages that you see, the amount of chips you see, but how many dies are in them.
Yeah, that's what's always confusing, I think, is that there's the level that you can see and then there's a level inside of that, right? Like essentially a processor would have like a heat spreader. This is a packaging for that NAND.
So by using dies that are half of they're 64 gigabit as opposed to 128 gigabit, which is the standard, right, per die. So they're going with slightly smaller ones, but then they can have twice as many, right? So then the fall off is shifted down in the capacity of the SSD.
Right.
So these don't really fall off until you get to the 128 gig capacity. So 256 all the way up to like 1 terabyte is roughly the same, like IOs per second, that sort of stuff. 128 is where you do see the fall off, but the fall off is much less noticeable than what the MX100s did.
Okay.
So,
where are these at in terms of like pricing then? Is it...
So the pricing was decent. Now realize this is like their... this is their premium product.
Right.
But the pricing was still good. And we actually saw, I don't know if it's jumped back up, but we saw, was it the 1 terabyte model that was insanely cheap? It was like 400.
It was like, I think it was $439 at that time. Let's see. Amazon has it listed for $399 now. Wow. It went down
for a terabyte?
It
went down
$3.99. Utterly sick.
Yeah. So, like 40 cents a gig.
39.9 cents.
Well, I round up 40.
I round down because now it's under 40.
No, okay.
See?
But still, it's a terabyte. A terabyte for $400.
1 terabyte for $400. The 512 is $238. So for $160 more, you're doubling.
Yeah.
From 512 to
it's like if you're already going to spend like over 300.
Yeah.
Then,
256 is down to 139 and 128.
Or if you don't have the money, 140 is not bad.
128 is $75 bucks. That's even cheaper now. That's gone down even more.
Yeah, the 128 gig is $75. And this is a drive. This is the one 550 reads, 350 writes. Well, at the 256 and above, at least.
Yeah.
Right.
The 128 is not so much slower.
Actually, no. The 256 and above are 550 read, 500 write. It's the 128 that has the lower performance.
That's where you start to notice that it does taper
I
off.
want to buy one of these for $399. That's a really good deal.
It's a terabyte for $400.
Terabyte. Wow.
It's good.
That's awesome. That's pretty impressive. So now with all that new news, how do you like the Crucial M550 series SSD?
I liked them even before the crazy pricing. I mean, it's a very good performing drive. It's now realize that there is other stuff coming that can outperform it, like the
850 Pro.
Samsung 850 Pro.
Sure.
That's going to outperform it.
But it's going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. It is right now. It's more expensive than that for sure.
So I'm just looking right now, like the 840 Evo 1 terabyte is $443.
Yeah.
So $443 versus $399. Which one would you pick?
I would go $399.
You would go $399? $399. Okay, hold on. We're gonna go again. Okay, the 850 Pro is $699.
Oh.
Okay, so that's $300 more. And then what do we got? Like the Intel 730. They don't even really go that high, do they?
730?
Yeah.
No, it's only a 480.
480 is $417.
Yeah, no.
Man, that M550 looks better and better now.
Yeah. It's a good performer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the latest OCZ one? Is that the Vertex 150?
There's a 150, there's a 460.
460.
And I think
yeah. Okay. I'm just kind of looking around, and now I'm just curious.
Yeah, there's
the
a
480
Vector,
gig Vector 150 is $301.
Yep. And then Vertex 460.
All of this is adding up to that Crucial M550 for 1 terabyte for $399.
Cheapest cost per gig, yeah. It's probably just the cheapest cost per gig, period, for a terabyte right now.
Yeah.
Because you can't
what was the one? What was the Crucial before that? It was the 500.
No, the M500.
Yeah, but the 100 was like the 500 was the one that was really cheap. When it was kind of like
MX100, but they don't make that in a terabyte.
Right.
And so if you want to go back one, it's M500.
The M500
not M550.
960 gig is $443. So now you're going up to the 550. You're getting extra capacity.
It's better performance.
And it's $45 less.
Yeah.
So if you want an SSD, what we're telling you is
a good way to go right now.
Use our PC Perspective affiliate code. Go to PCPro.com, click that link in the right-hand column, and then search for M550.
So how far off is the half a terabyte model cost per gig?
Which one? The 550?
The M550, yeah.
It was like 470.
No, you're talking about the Crucial M550?
Yes, M550 half a terabyte.
1 terabyte $399, half terabyte $238. So
wow, it's
you're talking
almost
about
like
under 50 cents to under 40 cents.
So where I'm kind of going back and forth on that is a lot of people like to buy a pair of the next size down and RAID 0 them. You actually do get twice the performance
you're
roughly.
$480 for a pair of 512s
versus just 400.
1 terabyte for 400.
So if you want to if you want to roughly double the performance you would get, you're spending an extra $80 just to get the smaller size. Wow, that's
interesting debate.
Yeah, that is a tough call.
So, okay, I mean, that's the Crucial M550 then.
Or just wait for another sale and buy another 1 terabyte and then just RAID 0 those.
Just buy 2 1 terabytes.
Now you just have 2 terabytes, yeah.
Don't be such a loser. Buy 2 $400 SSDs.
Don't spend $40 extra. Spend $400 extra.
Yeah, clearly. Like, finally you get it. Now
I understand.
The more you spend, the more you save.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right.
That's my wife's philosophy.
No, that's pretty much it on that. I'm just shocked that they're that cheap.
Yeah, when you first wrote that article, I think it was like $480 for the 1 terabyte, which was still a really good deal.
Like, we're going to have to update the article again probably and put a little note just to say, hey, it's going down even more. It's $400.
Yeah, impressive stuff. Moving on, Steve posted a review of the Lenovo ThinkPad Yoga Convertible. This is the Yoga.
Come down on that or what?
Yeah, kind of. It kind of does. So the Yoga brand of products from Lenovo is the kind that has those 4 different modes, right? You have laptop mode,
flips
you have
around
tablet
the other
mode,
way.
you have tent mode, and then you have like stand mode, right? And this is the kind of the introduction of that into the ThinkPad line instead of the IdeaPad line, right? So this is more the business centric. It's going to be
that's supposed to be even
build quality.
Yeah, even more durable, right?
Yeah, the better keyboard design would be in the ThinkPad series.
It's kind of tricky to be even more of a durable line and have a hinge that does a 180. A 360, sorry.
Yeah, they claim that they have done a ton of engineering on these hinges. And this is probably their 4th or 5th iteration of the Yoga
Yeah,
style.
they've been making that kind of hinge for a while.
So they've probably got it figured out. Specs wise, you've got your standard Ultrabook specifications here: Core i5 4300, Intel HD graphics, all integrated graphics there, 4 gigs of memory. You do have a Samsung 840 Pro 256 gig SSD in there, which is kind of nice.
That is nice.
It is a 12.5-inch screen, so very similar to what I have here in front of me, but it is 1080p as opposed to this one being 1366 by 768. Windows 8.1, 47 watt-hour battery, 802.11 AC, 2x2. So it's
2x2 is good.
Yeah.
AC at 2x2 is a lot of speed.
I would say if you look at like some of these pictures of the form factor, it doesn't have like the sleek sexiness of, say, like the Asus ZenBook, right? Like it looks like a ThinkPad.
Well, right.
Well, somehow it doesn't quite look like a ThinkPad either, though. Like it's got the bottom curved keys, and there's just the color scheme isn't quite right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Kind of almost looks like part of their IdeaPad series.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. Yeah. Okay, so you can't get that much of a sleek look out of this form factor specifically, like the Yoga form factor, because.
Well, no, you need a hell of a hinge.
Well, no, it's not that. You can't taper. You can't get away with tapering the edge of the screen or the bottom edge of the laptop because you need to be able to flip it around the other way and have it sit flat. So it has to be.
You would have a separation at the other side,
right? Otherwise, you'd have this weird gap, right? So it has to be like a brick on the screen and the base.
And that's kind of unfortunately what it looks like. It's got the good ThinkPad keyboard though. If this is kind of the most recent generation of it. The same one that, again, I have on my X230 that I use every day. Touchpads are maybe a little bit, they have a little bit too much throw in them.
Yeah.
Right? Than maybe some people are used to. I again, am pretty used to that. This does have a stylus, an active stylus that is used for touchpad interface.
So it's using like more of a digitizer style thing under the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's one of the higher end styluses that you get, not kind of like the passive stuff that we saw on
like actual handwriting on the screen kind of stylus. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Battery life wise, let's see, where's his graph down here? We're looking at comparatively, about a full hour more than the ThinkPad T440.
So how long total?
Well, the reader test is 10 hours and 40 minutes, and that is like bare minimum, everything turned off, like not doing Wi-Fi tests. It's just like if you're reading a document in airplane mode with,
you have it flipped around the other way. You're using it like a tablet, and you're reading a book.
No, I'm sure it's flipped up like in a standard laptop.
Well, I mean,
mode,
but it would still be.
But you could be doing that too.
Yeah, you could be doing that.
But this again, the way this is built, you don't have extra batteries. You can't change out the batteries.
True.
When you get into that, you can't have the batteries that stick out the back. If you look at like the T440 or the X240 with those external batteries, like the ones that do stick out, you're up to like 18 and 22 hours.
Sure, but who's going to read a book for that long?
It's just not. It's not talking about reading a book. I'm talking about that's representative of what the rest of the battery life situation would be for that machine. So you just want higher is better there. Performance wise, it performs like an Ultrabook. Like this is actually kind of devastatingly unexciting, right? If you look at T440, Yoga, X240, Flex 14, like all these numbers are nearly identical.
They're all very close, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it quad core? Dual core?
Yeah, it's a dual core hyper-threaded part. Yeah. So you can see there's the 840 Pro at work.
Oh, the SSD is, that's probably, I haven't seen that in really any Ultrabooks.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised to see that, like, not even the Evo. That's the Pro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm surprised they didn't just use the Evo, but hey. All right.
Hey, what are you going to do? So not really a gaming device. Obviously, you could do some modest stuff, but not much there.
Yeah.
Pricing wise, $1,595.
Wait, how much?
$1,595.
Well, it is a.
You're getting the Yoga, you're getting the ThinkPad, you're getting the stylus, you're getting the.
It's a business laptop.
Yeah,
it's a flashy business laptop. And again,
this actually the prices have probably gone down a little bit since he wrote this because I think it was accidentally in my queue for longer than it was supposed to be. So if you check around and you're looking at the prices of the ThinkPad Yoga,
yeah,
it may be significant.
So this is only integrated video, right? Only the HD.
Oh yeah,
4600 or whatever it is.
4400 in particular. Yeah,
that is a pretty beefy looking hinge.
It is. You add a little bit to the weight and stuff like this. It's about a half pound heavier than the other ThinkPads in that line, just because of the construction differences. The RAM is upgradable, not soldered, which is less common in Ultrabooks than it should be.
Oh, like both sticks can be removed, and wow, that is cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I work with a couple of people that have been ahead of the curve. They figure that laptops have done this for at least 5 years now. So I'd like to give them one of these because it actually won't break.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. I see what you did there. All right. So check that review out if you're interested in kind of that style, that class of laptop. Moving on to other things. We talked about it for a while last week, so we won't do a whole bunch more here, but we did actually do a review of the NVIDIA Shield tablet. This is the Tegra K1 powered device from NVIDIA, designed and built by NVIDIA. We did a review. We did a video of it with a lot of detail and some of the features and technology. I guess the quickest part to go over here is that in terms of it being a tablet, it's actually a pretty damn good Android tablet. It's a little bit on the expensive side at $299 if you're only going to use it as kind of like a media consumption tablet. I'm a big fan of, and continue to be, despite complaints from other people, fan of the front-facing speakers. It just makes sense to have front-facing speakers.
Who's
on
complaining
a device.
about front? Well,
Ken
or
always
you,
is.
then you can just
He's
break
always
the thing.
saying it's not necessary. He likes to hold his hand around the back so that the sound.
I don't have to do that.
But then you have to
do.
cup to
I
do
don't-
that.
I
Like,
don't-
Yeah, stop cupping the tablet.
I never cut my phone. It just is
Well, then
loud
you're just
enough.
sending, like, if you have speakers in the back, you're just sending the audio towards the people that don't want to hear it.
But it is. So
Good.
wait, well, are they on the side? Where are they?
The speakers are
that's the
right
speaker.
here. Like, yeah, they
Yeah.
are
Along
on the
edge.
bezel of the edges. Yeah.
That's so you're actually getting actual stereo.
Now, what it does do is it adds length to it, right?
Okay.
So if you didn't have those speakers, in theory, you could make it a little bit more narrow. right?
Maybe,
But
they
I
put,
would
they put the, like the
prefer-
webcam and stuff.
Yeah, they would.
as,
But
you
they
know.
can maybe put that on this part of the bezel or something. But
Sure.
I think the sacrifice is worth it. The industrial design on it is a little bit better than on the Tegra Note 7. It also has a stylus, but this is a passive stylus,
Okay.
right? But we went over that in the Tegra Note 7.
Oh, it's the capacitive tip kind of.
Yes,
Okay.
but it's actually pretty good for that. But I'm not a big stylus person, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about it. My main complaint about the design of the tablet as a whole is the fact that the mini HDMI port, if you look at this picture on the review, the mini HDMI port and the USB port, these two right here, are too close together. That's a really big picture.
There
There
you
they
go.
are. If you have if you want to plug it into power and hook it up to a TV, which you would want to do if you're hooking it up to a TV, so you don't run out of battery, the cables can interfere here, especially if you're using like a mini HDMI to HDMI converter for a regular HDMI cable. You know, those kind of like become a little bit wider.
becomes
on the
wider, yeah,
outside,
yeah.
and it can interfere with your ability to actually plug in the USB connection, which is problematic. That's the only design complaint I have. Ken was actually saying today that he was surprised how not thicker this was than the Nexus 7.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it looks that way because it's kind of got boxy edges.
Yeah, but it's
it's
not
not
really.
tapered in the same way that a Nexus 7 is. But in terms of, maximum height, Z height versus maximum Z height, it's pretty much the same. Has a cover again that works kind of like the iPad covers, kind of like the Tegra Note 7 covers.
Except it has like a couple of notches that actually
Yeah.
go into.
Yeah, they're magnetic.
It's like tab A and slot B
Yep.
with a magnet.
So it works as like the standard cover would work, but it also acts as a stand. The other big deal, obviously, with launching with this is the controller, the Shield controller. Shield wireless controller, I guess I'm supposed to say. And it's a really well-built controller. I like it a lot. And it is basically the Shield portable, the original Shield controller, with some modifications and changes, but it feels very similar to that, right? So you have built-in microphone on it. You have capacitive. Here, let me actually go ahead and change the review page over to the next one here. And you can see that, like, on the back, you have your USB charging port because it is
Yep.
wire, or
Although it does
is
last, like-
included battery. Yeah, it's like literally weeks
Yeah.
of battery life. if
It's
you're
like a
only
regular
playing
rechargeable
couple of
game
times.
controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That audio port on the back is for stereo headphones and microphone, which is cool because the controller uses Wi-Fi Direct rather than Bluetooth. It has enough bandwidth to like send audio back and forth. It's lower latency.
Yeah.
So you basically can use it kind of like if you use an Xbox 360 or Xbox One or PlayStation 4 controller, where you have your headset hooked up and it's talking wirelessly to the tablet. In this case, you've got a microphone up top here. If you don't have a headset and you just want to do voice commands, And then this button here is the Shield button, takes you to the Shield Hub or Shield Experience Zone or whatever they're calling it now. You got your back button, your home button, and kind of like your start button. This is a touchpad, actually, like a clickable. It's like a clickable touchpad.
Yeah.
For if you have games or applications that need you to use a mouse or emulate using a touchscreen for some particular reason, you can use that. It's not a it's a fine touchpad. It's just really small. You wouldn't want to use it for anything as your primary input method for it. And then below that you have a volume rocker as well. So as a tablet, it works great. As a like, I'm going to take this with me on the go gaming machine, it works fine. The benefit that the Shield tablet had over the benefit that the Shield Portable had over this new tablet is that it was one unit. The controller and the screen were in one.
Yeah.
If you were sitting on a subway or sitting on a bus,
You could not do like
you could just open up the screen and play.
yeah, but you couldn't do that with this.
This is much more difficult to do that.
Trying to balance it on your
Right?
lap
Like,
while you're
yeah,
holding this. And
either you have to lay it flat and then the viewing angle is going to be pretty bad,
Right.
or you're trying to like balance this on your lap, like you'd have to hold your legs close together and make sure that the tablet
Yeah.
doesn't slip between them and
even
fall on
like
the ground.
even like kids trying to use that in the back of a car,
It would be harder.
like it's not really
Yeah.
practical.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
You need one of those little stands that
Sliced
holds
into
it on
the
the
front.
back of the headrest or something. Like you'd need
Yeah.
That's
to,
yours for just $49.99.
yeah, I
they made
suppose,
that.
Yeah, yeah they made
They
them.
will.
Yeah,
But
I hope
I
so.
just wonder, is that really what they're going for? Because the first one, for sure, they were going for portability.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a Game Boy killer, which is kind of sad because the Game Boy's dead.
not.
But this one seems more like going against Xbox and PS4. Same price range when you buy the controller and the
Yeah.
cover, and when you plug it into your TV, it's fulfilling the same function.
Yeah, so I agree with you. The kind of the main functionality I think is the console mode, where when you plug in that HDMI port into your TV, it'll run 1080p. The native screen, by the way, is 19 by 12, but it converts it to a 1080p
And it won't fake
output.
1080p.
No.
It will do it.
It actually doesn't. And then now you're able to play all of your Android games on the TV. You've got your wireless controller that has you could be able to do anything on the tablet with the controllers you could do at the tablet itself, thanks to the touchpad and the kind of controls built onto it. You can play your Android games. You can play, your game stream games that way. It's
Yep.
kind of an interesting idea of, if you've got that gaming PC upstairs, you don't want to haul it downstairs or run a really long HDMI cable.
There is wireless signals going all over the place when you do
Yep.
that.
Yeah. So with this, you can use the USB port to get a Ethernet connection, hardwire Ethernet.
Well, you can,
connections
but
but
I don't think you really need to. I mean, we tried it.
so it's kind of expensive if you think of it as just a game stream pass-through device, right?
True.
But it does that as well as being a tablet. So
Yeah.
you take it with you when you go to work or going out or whatever you need it for,
Yep.
and you can just come back home and plug it in and use it when you want
And
to.
then it
that
works
way.
like almost like a portable or like a extension of your PC console kind of thing.
Yeah. The other big thing really is the idea of these Tegra K1 specific designed games. Take, for example, Portal was originally released on the Shield, originally released on the PC, but it came out on the Shield Portable originally.
And that was not full.
It was OpenGL ES.
Right.
Right. So,
Pared down OpenGL.
yeah. The version designed for Android and iOS and that stuff to begin with. Right. They redesigned Portal,
Recompiled
recompiled it really with full OpenGL
Yeah.
with Portal and Half-Life 2. And those games are available only on Tegra K1 devices, specifically the Shield
And on
tablet.
that, they look very much like the PC
They look
versions.
pretty much just like the PC
Yeah.
version. And in fact, Ken actually booted up the Shield Portable and opened up Portal. And we opened it up on both devices, and there was a noticeable visual difference.
Of course.
Like there's like no reflections at all. And it's like something, if you just see the ES version, it would be easy to kind of go, yeah, that's kind of what I remember Portal being like.
Yeah.
Right. And then
But
you
no,
play it
it's-
on this,
it's night
it's
and
like,
day.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They have Trine 2, which is a PC first title. And now it actually ships with, it's pre-installed on every Shield tablet. It's a very, very good looking game. Plays great on the controller. They have other games like War Thunder, which I don't know why I'm so excited to play this because I've never played it before. Apparently it's already available on the PS4. It's like an action flight sim type thing, MMO style. And it's going to be available. It's already on the PS4. You'll be able to play it on this. And actually, I think they have, we saw an Oculus version of it was going to be available soon as well for the PC. So they have, there's a couple of other titles. They've got the Talos Principle, Anomaly 2, some other stuff. These are games that were specifically built for the Tegra K1 SoC, not just Android,
Okay.
but the Tegra K1 SoC. And I really believe that this is a super high quality combination of hardware, but the success of it depends on the ability for NVIDIA to get developers to sign on to making more of those games, right? Because that's really what was impressive to me in the week or two that I had it, right? Was I hooked up the TV and I finished all of Portal. And it was a blast. It was fun. And it didn't feel like I was playing on a tablet. I didn't feel like I was playing, a subset of what Portal should be.
Right.
I sat down and I played like 2 or 3 hours of Wolfenstein: The New Order through game streaming, through the tablet onto my TV with the controller. And I thought this is actually a really, really good experience. Like it worked really, really well. But I think if that's all you're going for, $299 is a hard price.
Yeah.
If you want just a tablet, $299 is a high price. If you want just Android games, I think the total is pretty high price. But if you want all of those things, it kind of makes sense. And I just don't know how big that audience is going to be yet. And I don't think the original Shield Portable was a super high success. So I think that's kind of explains
They
why.
gave 1 or 2 of them away.
They did, definitely.
1 or 2,000
And
million.
I think the fact that we don't see just a Shield with a Tegra K1 in it, and instead we see this tablet with a controller, is kind of like, okay, that wasn't the hit that we wanted it to be.
they
Let's
didn't
try a different method.
they didn't make a Shield 2.
Let's try, and I'm not saying that they won't, but I don't think that they will, because they're obviously they're trying something else. And the tablet that you can then turn into a gaming device as opposed to an only gaming device.
Yeah.
Would be interesting.
So how long do we give them until there's just a headless Apple TV-like box that you plug in and do game stream and all these Tegra K1
The
exclusive
NVIDIA
games?
Game Stream.
Well,
Just a box.
yeah, that would be interesting, because if
Like
you wanted to do
that's what
just
I'd be
game stream,
interested in.
if you just wanted to do game stream, you don't need a high-end SoC, right?
Yeah.
If you
I hate to
want
say
to
it,
do
though.
the K1 games,
I hate to
then
say it,
you
though,
could
there's-
probably do half the price and do it, and
If
then
you-
it's
if you-
use the same controller.
If
Yeah.
you only want to do game streaming, you can almost just get a wireless HDMI thing.
You could,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause
but
you're
then you gotta
just-
have your wireless keyboard and mouse and that stuff.
Yeah.
or wireless
I
controller
think
of some kind.
OnLive now has a product where you can stream your own PC games over the network to Android, so you could use that.
Really?
No,
I
no,
think
we're
they do,
not. We're
actually.
not- we're
Do
not-
they?
We're not going that route. No,
They're still
They're
around.
not even allowed.
they are still around. They still send tweets out, so I know that they do that. Oh yeah, and also I should say you can stream to Twitch from this thing now.
Yeah, so while you're doing game streaming and this controller is connected over Wi-Fi...
2.4 gig. Yeah,
Well, no, 5 gig. Could be 5 gig.
I think it's 2.4.
Oh. Okay, well,
But either
whatever.
way.
Wi-Fi
That
Direct.
doesn't make sense. Cut
Right.
the bandwidth in half.
Yeah. So
half of it
essentially, like if you hold down the back button on the Shield tablet at anywhere, whether it be in a game or out
On the controller.
on the controller,
Yeah.
in a game or in any application, you can bring up this little menu and it will allow you to record locally or stream to Twitch. And you can use your microphone and your headset that way. You can actually use the front-facing camera, so you position your face on the stream.
So you have a headset
you can bring
on
up the
with a microphone.
the Twitch chat, and you can interact with them
Yeah,
that way.
you can have a headset on with a mic plugged into the back of the controller.
Yep.
Controller's talking to the tablet, Wi-Fi Direct.
Yep.
So you have bi-directional communication going there. Then this thing is game streaming from your PC. So it is also receiving the stream from there.
Yep.
And then it's going out to your TV, HDMI or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you're also recording locally to this and potentially Twitch streaming with the overlay. So you're also using the webcam
Yep.
and it's recording its own video.
We did all
With-
of that. Like we did a thing where we played Grid 2 and we did all of that stuff.
That's a lot of
and
stuff.
it worked. It got, we maybe saw a little bit of a performance hit.
Yeah, but it's
frame
it's
rate.
brand new. Like it
Yeah,
just like
I know.
there was a little bit of a
I
buggy.
think I still think it's impressive.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how big the audience is going to be for people who stream to Twitch that want to do it through a tablet.
You could do that while sitting on your couch.
You could. Yeah, you can do that. I mean, it's
Just have
it's
some,
pretty cool
you know.
stuff. It really is. Performance-wise, it's awesome. Like if you look at CPU benchmarks, they're pretty good. GPU benchmarks are not comparable to anything else. But you are looking at $299 for the tablet, $39 for the cover, and $59 for the controller. The cover price of $39 is the one that's hard to eat there. The tablet and the controller, yeah, probably, but for a piece of fabric with some magnets in it, $39 is pretty steep. You are talking, as Jeremy mentioned, $399 for the whole set. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Check out the review. I've got a lot of stuff in there, a lot of commentary on it. We've got the video on it where Alan and I talk more about it. I don't know. Josh, Jeremy, you guys have anything else you want to add about this before we kind of move on? Or
the only
It's
thing I
nice.
can think is that I think it should be a console killer. I don't think it will be, but I'd love to see it be one.
yeah, I know. You would love to see anything kill the consoles, though.
Well,
That's okay.
they keep declaring us dead, so why can't we start doing it to them too?
That's fine. Fair enough.
Josh?
Hey, how about that post-PC world NVIDIA's jumping both feet into?
Well, not really both feet. I think they still make GeForce cards, unless I'm
That's
mistaken.
true. They kind of do.
They're just dipping an extremity in.
Yeah.
Quick note here about Lee posting a review of the Seasonic X Series XM2 1250 watt power supply. This is a lot of power for a power supply there.
Arc welding.
Ultra tight voltage regulation, Seasonic hybrid silent fan control, reduced cooling fan hysteresis. Am I saying that word right?
Hysteresis?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I know.
So it doesn't pay attention.
That's when
to
they
its
take
last
the
video
uterus
as
out,
much.
right?
That's close to that. I think it's close
Yeah.
to that. Dual copper conductor bars, 80 plus gold, fully modular design, 7-year warranty, which is great to see. And you can look through Lee's review here. As usual, very detailed. Takes it apart, looks at stuff inside. It's always fun to see.
Surprised that fan would last 7 years.
Hey, build up.
Probably never on.
See, that's
true.
That's true. It probably runs very, very little. If we look, you can see some of the.
Only turns
I was
on when you're
looking
welding.
inside of power supplies. Look at that.
And
Look
it
at the
is a
size of those caps.
Sanyo Denki San Ace, so
that's beefy.
they do last for a while.
Yeah. Look at the size of those coils.
Yeah.
These are nice.
I'm just surprised that that's a 1200 watt power supply and the primary transformer is so small.
Yeah, isn't it neat?
Like that
Yeah, this-
transformer in the center is not that big,
Yeah.
and it's moving 1200 watts. Like that's pretty impressive.
1250 thing.
1250 watts. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tell you, when those transformers go,
At stupidly good efficiency, and like he's like even saying 100% load can barely even see the ripple.
Yeah, that's just gonna be
on AC. It's just
very,
crazy.
very well designed parts. That's
The only
gotta be.
weakness he came up with was not available in North America yet, but coming soon in August. Right, so
okay.
PC per gold award for that one. If you're looking for a high-end power supply, Seasonic makes great ones, and if you don't know, they make a lot of power supplies for other companies.
It's true.
Brands that you may already know, that you think you know of power supplies, they're actually going through Seasonic to
Yep.
get those manufactured. So keep that in mind.
Just don't list them because they take offense.
Well, no, I mean, most of them are pretty open about it. Like, if we talk
Yeah.
with Corsair or EVGA or XFX or whatever, they'll tell us who is the OEM is. Because if it's a good OEM, they want to brag about it. That's
true.
a selling point for them. So, let's talk about one last piece of content that went up today. We have a mouse review, the Logitech G402. I hesitate to call it a review. It's more of like a demonstration or whatever. The Hyperion Fury gaming mouse. It is this mouse actually right here that we're using, or that I'm using rather, for the podcast today. And if you look at it, it looks just like a normal mouse. You've got your buttons, you've got your multiple DPI settings. It's got this cool light on the top of it here for the G logo. But what is maybe more interesting is that they have this thing called the Fusion engine that they've put in it. And the Fusion engine is a system in which...
do you have to have a particle badge, radiation badge, if
It's
you use
okay.
this?
I brought one from the sub. We're covered.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
only reason I had to wait for Alan to get here before I was even allowed to use the mouse
Yeah.
legally in the contiguous 48 states.
I had to put the.
So,
So you're the RSO for PC
Yes,
perspective?
I am. I am certified.
Yeah.
We're so done. What the Fusion engine does is it supplements the optical sensor, right? So if you look at the bottom of a mouse, you have this little dot.
Optical
essentially.
sensor.
It's a sensor. It's taking pictures of the surface as you move your mouse across it, and then it compares those pictures to each other to figure out how far and in what direction you moved your mouse, right?
Yep.
Those work great most of the time.
Up to a certain
almost
speed.
all the time. But up at a certain speed, they kind of fail. Like when you move further than the camera can track
Yeah.
in a certain amount of time, it doesn't see any points that it recognizes from the previous picture. So it kind of fails. It says, I don't know where you're going. So it just doesn't do anything, or it kind of picks a random direction where it thinks you're going to go.
It is a trade-off. It's like the more accurate you want the sensor to be, the slower.
It needs to
Like
take
the
its
low.
pictures.
Well, no, that and the lower the speed at which it's going to start acting weird,
Right.
Like so. And then this guy, it ends up being like what, around 90 or 100 inches per second.
We got up to like 115 or so.
Yeah, but
inches
that
per
was
second,
pushing it though. That was
right,
like
where we could get the optical sensor to read kind of reliably.
Yeah.
And so the idea of the Fusion engine, as its marketing name is that they've basically added an accelerometer and gyro into the internals of the mouse. And what it does is as soon as the mouse realizes that the optical sensor has failed, that it cannot any longer
can't keep
produce
up.
accurate data, it supplements with the accelerometer and gyro info.
Yep.
And so it allows you to track with, I think probably it's fair to say, less accuracy, but much more accuracy than nothing.
Yeah, because you're hitting a brick wall. Like you're just, if you're moving it too fast with only optical, and if you're able to get to that speed.
Yeah.
Now we thought originally that like, wow, that really takes a lot to get there, but
it still does.
Ryan, well, when we recorded the video earlier today, like he was just showing just the optical only
so
part.
if you look in the software that comes with the Logitech G402 mouse, they have this little demo thing that you can kind of test it out, right? And so what you're looking at on here is like the optical sensor only. On this side is the optical sensor with the Fusion engine.
So like I noticed that when we recorded that video, which we have separately, I mean it's on YouTube if you want to see it, but like when you were kind of like, you hadn't yet done your wind up and fling the mouse move yet, right?
I wouldn't call it a fling. I'll call it a control.
Well, like intentionally
jab.
Try to go as fast as possible, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of like just really did more of a sweep with your arm without even really moving your elbow, right? And you hit over 90.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now
so
we
like
should say, of course, that we're using this giant mouse pad.
we are. I brought in.
It's a 36-inch by 18-inch mouse pad. Just give us enough room to kind of to test things out. I'm trying to find.
Did you play the Spank the Monkey game?
We did not play the Spank the Monkey game.
This would be a good.
So
it's got great music.
So you can see here, if you look in the video, we can see that the mouse pad that we have, and see if we can find
the Ripper XXL.
Yeah,
so further.
This is us a little bit further.
Also known as a desk plotter.
So, no, there we go. I was trying to show motions where I just kind of swipe it across.
It's close. I thought you did it more towards the beginning of the video.
Yeah, I don't know. But if you watch this video, so you can see there. So I turned the Fusion engine on, okay? And what I'll do is do that thing you're talking about, kind of like warming up and stuff.
Yeah, just kind of moving it around and whatnot. Yeah.
So you can see there, it's kind of measuring your IPS as you move it.
And what's cool is that red band actually means like it's using the optical sensor, right? So it actually does a handoff.
So here we go. Let's see one of those times where I try to move it really fast. See, that was within reason, 129.
Yep.
Right.
Something a gamer
so it's starting to use that Fusion engine already.
Yeah.
In that part of the video. So.
And then Ryan started going crazy and like almost hitting me with the mouse because I was sitting in the line of fire, so to speak.
We can do this. Here we go. Watch this.
Oh, there he goes. 256.
Not my maximum, but pretty good, I think.
Now, actually, it does go higher than 2.
We
neatly went to a 2 to the X.
I hit 287.
Yeah.
So the idea is basically for people who are gaming at low DPI that have to have to move a large physical space on their mousing surface.
Yeah.
That there are instances where you're going to go above that 120.
And I think even like
it's questionable on how accurate you'll be at that.
If you're in a first-person shooter and you start getting hit from behind by somebody and you need to spin around real fast, like even if you're not using really low DPI,
like this, like if
you would potentially you would make that kind of move, right? And ideally, you still want to be on the same horizon when you do end up facing the other way,
right?
And if you just had optical, and I mean that's actually happened to me, like, but you just think that it's. Usually you just assume that you're just like moving your hand all over the place as you're like panicking, right? But it's probably not what's actually happening.
Until, working with Logitech on this mouse, like I didn't understand that optical sensors were failing at some point with speed. So, and the kind of an interesting part, it's still a good mouse otherwise. It's a lightweight mouse. It's their 400 series, so it's not like super high in their product stack. It's only $59 though, which is very, very reasonable. I think it has up to 5 DPI settings. I think it's up to 4,000 DPI, polling rate up to 1,000.
I think we need to fire up like Deus Ex or something, and try to like spin around the other way real fast.
This decade.
But it updates really quick and like that kind of thing. So like and try to see if you can like spin around really quickly, right? And see if you're still on the same horizon, that kind of thing.
Josh, Jeremy, do you guys have any need for a super speed mouse, the world's fastest?
Well, yeah, because I'm playing Spank the Monkey right now.
Yeah, I've got Spank the Monkey. I got the big hand.
I like how they're both intently staring at the screen like they are absolutely playing Spank the Monkey.
Why is everybody
It's
spanking the
true.
monkey?
I just
Put
spanked the
the,
monkey at 328 miles an hour. I could really use this mouse.
Well, now
Wait,
at the end of the
wait.
show, I'll do it.
Okay.
Because now I'm curious.
Yeah, now we need to know.
328 miles an hour. 'Cause that's
328 miles an hour.
That's not right.
I'm not
Because
quite there yet.
500 inches per second is 28.4 miles per hour.
And that's what this mouse tops out at.
This mouse tops out at 500.
And that mouse tops out 5 times higher than an optical mouse. So
I've been practicing for years.
You of all people, I 100% believe that.
Ryan testing this mouse on like
I'm
one of
getting
those.
the music. I did it good.
If you test this mouse and try to see how high you can get on like a plastic, like a composite mouse pad, you might burn your finger and melt
I
the
actually
Teflon.
did kind of catch my finger, like not on fire, but I had my what is it's my ring finger on my
Yeah.
right hand, like
The Teflon.
touching the top of the mouse pad as I was doing it back and forth, and it like I was like, my finger burns. Like I actually
You have worn. There's a
stop touching my mouse.
there is a horizontal pattern
Stop touching.
in the Teflon. On
yeah,
this.
that's not supposed to happen.
No.
Logitech is not responsible for the spontaneous combustion of any appendage of user.
Indeed. All right, so let's move on. If you want to check that out, like I encourage you guys to go to our YouTube channel or go to the story on PCPro.com and watch the video where we kind of demonstrate how all
Yeah.
that software and stuff works. And I think you'll be impressed. And again, I'm not sure if it's going to come to other lines of mice, if it's going to end up in a wireless model or anything like that, but this is kind of where it's at. And for $59, even as just a normal mouse, I've been using it for a couple of days,
Yeah.
like at my desk using normal productivity stuff. It's
If I
a fine
was
mouse.
in the market to buy a mouse right now, I just needed one. That's
If
probably
you
what I would
weren't
get.
still using a mouse that was 13 years old,
No.
you would buy.
I'm on like a
It's a
what, a
G6.
G500
What is that, the
or
Intel
something?
mouse for?
No, that mouse over there is like a couple of generations ago for me, like from what I was using.
All right, fine. Let's talk about something that's maybe more interesting to people who are watching and listening. This is the part we tell you about our contest.
Yay!
So our good friends at EVGA wanted to help promote us. They wanted us to be able to give you guys some stuff. So they said, what do you guys want to give away this week? How about we give you a mouse and a case? I said, we'll absolutely do a mouse and a case.
Sure.
So what we're giving away today is a EVGA Hadron Air case and an X10 Torq, or is it Torq X10? I think I had that backwards. Mouse. So this is EVGA's first entry into the mouse market. It's actually a really nice mouse as well. We were using these at QuakeCon. We gave some of them away
Looks
at
cool.
QuakeCon. It has like
Is that the one that
breathing
Scott did
animation?
the breathing?
Yeah. So it has adjustable sizing and
Adjustable
stuff to
breathing.
it's a $90 mouse that you can win here, and the case is like $170, I think, for this Hadron Air Mini ITX design. We did a review of this case as well. You can see that here. So here's how we're going to do this. We promise that one person who watches live would be able to win the mouse. Okay, so if you're watching live, this is important. If you're listening after the fact, if you were not here during the live stream, you can still enter to win the EVGA Hadron Air case.
Okay.
And actually, the secret is you can do it at the same place, actually. So if you go to the homepage at PCPro.com and you look for this very post, podcast listeners and viewers win an EVGA Hadron Air case and X10 Torq mouse, you will see at the bottom of it now, that wasn't there before, a form where you enter your name and your email. That's all I'm asking for.
Sweet.
Your name and your email. And if you put your name and your email in there now, at the end of the podcast, right before we close, I will pick a random winner from that.
One time only.
You can only enter one time.
It won't even let you.
It'll only let you enter one time. So you fill out your name and email here, and at the end of the show, I will go ahead and pick the winner. If you're listening to this after the fact, after we recorded it, still go to that same page. Still go to the podcast listeners and viewers win an EVGA Hadron Air and X10 Torq.
How long are you going to wait on the case?
Next week. We'll just announce it next week's podcast.
Okay.
So you have until next Wednesday at probably 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern to fill it out. And
That's a long time.
draw 'em there. And if you're watching live now and you fill out that form, you will already be entered, of course, obviously, in for the Hadron Air case as well. You don't have to try to enter in a second time. We'll draw again from the same much larger pool of entrants this time. So go there, fill that out, and we'll check back in on you later in the show. So we have here, here we go. I've got these up on the EVGA site, the EVGA Torq X10. I did have that backwards, Ken, if you want to show this here. A $90 mouse.
$90.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Torq X10. Yeah.
That's what we got.
It's the carbon version. There's a regular version
Oh,
too.
the regular Torq is not carbon.
Yeah, and it's not $90.
And it's not $90. So we're giving you the good one.
Yeah.
We're giving you the good stuff. And then, of course, we have the EVGA Hadron Air case as well. Tiny case, lots of room for stuff. Oh, and I did want to mention one thing EVGA asked us to bring up. They are celebrating their 15th anniversary.
Wow.
And they're having an event. If you go to evga.com/15, you'll get this page. They're basically just having a contest. We have over $70,000 in prizes that they're giving away. evga.com/15. Scavenger hunts, gaming events, shadow play, social media events. You can see here they've got all the sponsors laid out, and you can go there and see all the different prizes and what you have to do to win them. So congrats to them for lasting 15 years, I guess. And
I didn't even know they were around that long.
for giving away a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Almost. Yeah. That's actually...
That's the same age as PenStarSys.com.
Does it really count as... Is it dead, though?
Not as long as I'm paying for it.
Oh.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Can't argue with that. Let's talk about a couple of news items, a handful of news items real quick. Rumor NVIDIA GeForce 800 series is 28 nanometers in October, November. Jeremy, Josh, did you read anything on this?
Well, that's not a shock. Nobody's got, one, the 20 nanometer process that is available to, these from the pure play foundries. It's more low power, smaller designs, and a GPU is neither of those for the most part. So, yeah, they're kind of stuck at 28 nanometer until they get either 20 nanometer SOI or FDSOI or, the 16 nanometer FinFET from TSMC, I believe. So, yeah, we're going to be stuck at 28 nanometer for what? This is going to go on 4 years? 3 years?
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
2012, I think, was when it first came out. So almost 3 years.
Come on, TSMC. Fix your
We're
shit.
almost nearing the 4th anniversary of the Tahiti GPU. Third, fourth, and it's still being sold.
Yep.
And it is still being sold. Yes, that's true.
Gangbusters. Talk about a return on investment.
That's true.
So, I mean, if NVIDIA were to release another large high-performance GPU at this node, I mean, can they still do stuff to, get generational performance improvements, do you think?
Josh?
Say that again.
If they are stuck at 28 nanometer for this next kind of big GPU release, can they still find ways to get architectural performance improvements?
Yes, because you're dealing with products that are, 5 billion transistors? Do you think by chance there could be
Some optimizations.
some optimizations that can be done and some architectural tweaks that
Wait,
can
you think
improve?
they didn't get those 5 billion transistors in the exact right place the first time?
We'll just take those 2 transistors in that back corner. We'll rearrange them a little bit, and it'll be a little bit faster. And then we'll sell it as a new product.
I guess that makes sense.
Remember the one transistor in a chipset that cost Intel $1 billion?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
one transistor in a chipset.
Well, if you look back at the old roadmaps, right? Remember, Maxwell was going to be the unified virtual memory. Volta was going to have stacked DRAM.
Yeah, that roadmap's kind of jacked.
Yeah, exactly. And now, if you look at the roadmap from GTC that Tim was at, you have Maxwell, and now you have Pascal, which is in the middle. But that's not
Which
until
is like the worst
2016.
programming language
what is the
ever.
vertical scale of that? What is that?
That is SGEMM
is it flops or something?
per
What is
watt.
it?
Normalized, it's performance per watt, whatever it is.
Oh, so it's not
Yeah.
performance.
So, and now Pascal is in there, and it has unified memory, 3D memory, and NVLink.
And seems to make a really large performance per watt jump, too.
But we're not getting Pascal. The rumor is not that you're getting Pascal. That's clearly on the roadmap in 2016. And we are still currently in 2014. I believe that is the case. So
And that
I want to know what the
roadmap has never
performance jump
changed.
is.
October,
expected to
November
be.
is interesting. Yeah.
The performance jump on that is going to be 16 nanometer FinFET.
Okay, so in 2016, you think we're
Oh yeah,
definitely
well,
moved past 20.
we're gonna see the first products rolling off the line for 16 nanometer FinFET Q1 2015,
So how much?
and we'll we'll probably get GPUs by the beginning of second half of 2015.
So as like a person who still buys his GPU from time to time, like, what's the performance jump on the 800 series over what the 700 series would be? Like,
It's going to be all architectural.
Like 800 series is not out
I
yet.
think they're going to apply
but I mean, like,
a lot
if you
of the
follow
power.
the same trend, like how much, you know?
I have no idea.
Oh
What? Am I muted?
No,
no,
you're not.
go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to say that NVIDIA is going to do a lot of the same things that we see Intel and AMD doing right now. Crank up the clock speed and get the work done, and then try to get it into rest states in different parts of the GPU. And I mean, there's going to be an insane amount of gating, and they're going to try to clock it up as high as possible in burst rates to be able to get work done faster and then go to resting state. And so you're not going to see a significant increase in TDP. In fact, you're probably going to see perhaps a small decrease, but performance is going to be better just because, I mean, design, optimization, and really, I think, aggressive power saving, and let's get this done fast and go into a rest state.
Huh.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. We'll find out. October, November is what the rumors are. So, new GPUs by the holidays?
Yay.
Maybe.
Hopefully shipping by then.
Let's talk about Raptr without a no, because trendiness.
Raptr.
Raptree.
Raptr.
So Raptr is a software company that makes the AMD Gaming Evolved app. They existed before that app was a thing, and now they continue to exist. But the AMD Gaming Evolved version of Raptr,
That is the AMD version of
like GeForce Experience.
GeForce Experience.
Right, it actually does a little bit more than GeForce Experience. It's more of like a social sharing tool as well.
And it also works on NVIDIA too.
Yes, that's what's interesting, right? So they just announced kind of a major update, and part of that is that the features are for both Radeon and GeForce users. So the headlining feature is hardware accelerated video recording and streaming for both AMD and NVIDIA GPUs.
Wow.
Raptr claims that their method leads to basically no performance loss, regardless of which GPU vendor is used. Up to 20 minutes of previous gameplay can be recorded after it happened, and video of unlimited length can be streamed on demand. So they have Twitch streaming integrated. They have kind of a DVR running full-time in the background.
But for
enabled.
20 minutes, where I think GeForce Experience is 30?
It started at 10. I think they moved it to 20. I'm not sure. It might be 30. It could be. They also have like the ability to share those videos kind of integrated through the application if you want.
Like a post to YouTube from the thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's pretty cool.
So it's interesting to see this application now start to duplicate more of the features of what GeForce Experience is.
Right.
And kind of doing it better because it doesn't care what GPU you have.
Just doing it on either GPU. Someone who knows how to use,
honestly, I need to spend some more time with the app because the GeForce Experience is, has a lot of cool features, but one of the benefits is it just works well.
Yep.
Like it works great. Like all the features work, and boom, you're ready to go. Shadow play works, and the Twitch streaming works, and things like that. So if this works
doesn't
just
the
as
NVIDIA
well,
gaming experience give you the rewards?
no, it doesn't.
Because that is one of the things about Raptr that does make it more impressive.
Yeah,
AMD does.
I would love to talk to users who actually get access to any of those rewards, like how much you actually have to do.
I mean, it comes with a driver now, so I mean, I've got it, but I have no idea how many points, if any, I have.
Yeah, what annoys me is that you can't not install it with the driver now.
Oh.
I know.
Well, yeah, it kind of fights
with
you.
GeForce Experience, I still have the option to not install GeForce Experience, which I think most people should have. It. It's not a bad piece of software in any way. It's not like bloatware or anything. But for us, when we're like doing a bunch of test bed stuff where I don't need it.
I just want to know if Raptr is as annoying or less annoying than GeForce Experience popping up like there's a new version of blah blah blah. Like it's
not annoying.
I don't know.
It's like once a month, and
it's informative.
It's telling you about a new driver.
It's showing you it cares.
I like the driver part.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Wait, but that's like Steam telling me there's a new driver.
I like the driver part.
Piss off, Steam. If I want a new driver, I'll get it.
Right. I like the driver part.
You're such a stodgy old man. You know that, Jeremy?
Well, it's true, but I'm also upset because 14.4
I
I can't rotate my monitor's portrait anymore. So
well, here's the thing. In my opinion, I think GeForce Experience should be able to update silently The driver, I can see you can't really do.
You can't do that.
But
yeah.
but the GeForce experience, like the default should just be: do you want auto updates? Like while you're installing it,
there might
you just
be a
say yes.
checkbox for that.
But
it would still have to run an installer, right? It's,
Initially, yes, to get it on your system.
well,
yes.
even for the silent updates, right? If they're updating the program files, if the application is running, you can't update it.
like I think it should do like
Magic?
Steam. Steam gets updated, right?
When you start it every
when
time.
when you start it, if there's an update, it just does it. Okay. Like you reboot your system.
you don't get an option.
Steam fires
so you'd
back
rather
up.
not have
It
an
just-
option?
Yeah, like for that particular
Why don't you-
thing.
But like when no, that's dumb. You always want an option, right? Because when Steam starts up and it does an update, and I go, no, I don't want you to update. I need to do something right now. I don't want to wait for you to download a 120 meg update.
Sure.
That sucks, right? But if it popped up and said, hey, we have an update available, would you like to download it and give me the choice? It's like Java.
You would never update it.
It's like Java.
Which
Or
is why
Skype.
I have a 4-month-old version of GeForce Experience sitting on my PC at home because I'd never do the
So
update.
Your argument is that shove it down my throat because I'm too stupid to click the yes button?
Because I'm too smart
Listen,
to click the yes.
everything
Too
else,
lazy to click it?
Windows, you
And
can have
wait?
auto update. Steam, you can have auto update.
Yeah, but it still reboots your computer and
GeForce Experience has to reboot your computer?
no. But I'm telling you, like, there's other things that have to happen. Like,
No.
I hate it actually when Windows tells me I have 15 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to reboot my machine for me.
That is annoying.
Right?
Yes.
Not otherwise. In 15 minutes, it will.
No,
reboot
I-
your
Right,
machine.
right. That's newer.
You can
than
disable that. You can actually go into like
But-
your profile and like get rid of that if you want. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which I do.
Chrome is a good argument. Chrome does it in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See Chrome?
Yeah, no,
There's
it'll
just an
never ask.
update.
Wait,
it downloads it.
But that's an option.
No. Well, you have to.
Well,
but
that's the
the
default
is
option.
on.
So that when you start it up, Firefox does it too. When
If
you
there's
start
an
it up, it's
update for
already
Chrome-
installing the new version.
Yeah. If there's an update for Chrome,
Sometimes I don't want that. That has screwed me up so many times where
Why?
Firefox updates to like version 97 or whatever the hell they're at
but
now.
Firefox has that issue with plugins and crap.
No, but
Chrome
I'm saying
doesn't.
that like, yeah, and it's like suddenly something doesn't work. And like, well, maybe if you
But-
just wouldn't auto update for me, I
That doesn't happen with Chrome.
yeah, it does. Chrome
Well,
has
no,
just
and
as
the
many
problem
plugins.
is, at least with, if you don't have admin rights, Firefox can't update. Chrome, there's no stopping that damn thing. It's going to update.
How does it do that? It shouldn't be allowed to do that.
And it installs under your profile.
Don't be
You're allowed
lazy.
to
Hit
do
the
that.
button to say yes, and then it updates for you. It's like auto updating, except you approve it.
Every time you're
It's automatically sending you a notification that says, "Hey, dummy, update."
I just want it to happen.
now every time that your computer pops up an update, I'm gonna be on
no,
you.
I'm telling you that I love to have the choice, so I can do it when I want to.
But you
he's
never
saying he
do
just
it.
wants to do it. So I do it when I need to do it.
Oh, I see you're
moving
doing
on.
a podcast. Let's install Windows 8.1.
Yes, exactly. Moving on. We don't have anything on this really necessarily. Jeremy, you posted a news blurb from Slashdot, I guess, about the Oculus Rift Dev Kits 2 starting to arrive.
Oh, you mean this?
Yeah, so we got
Yeah,
ours
that
in
thing
today.
that you just got,
We got this in today, and here, let me go ahead and put this on.
So do you put that on and do you say bring out the GIMP?
So while he can't see what he's doing,
as soon as he puts
anymore,
it on, the GIMP's already out for him.
The GIMP's sleeping.
and while Ken is flicking him off, while I can't see it, and so am I, and we're just all flicking him off.
I
so
I
I-
still have pants on. Don't worry.
So as an experiment, I used this for the first time. Like I have not put on.
You've never
any-
used the DK1.
I have not even put any Oculus device on my head ever.
Adjusted. Yeah.
Right. That thing is surprisingly good. Like, I mean, it's just as far as the update is very fast. Like the only thing that I could the only thing that I could perceive of latency, like moving my head, and actually between the time my head moved and it updated what I saw, the only reason there was a delay is because I was moving my head faster than the Oculus device was accelerating with my head. Like it was moving a little bit on my head, and that's what I perceived as like a lag.
This is also so
So-
the DK2 Development Kit 2 adds a you get a camera now that sits on top of your monitor, and it monitors positional
Yeah, it
movement.
gives you an
right?
absolute
So
position
If
on
you
it.
move
Yeah.
forward, the character moves forward. If you move back, if you do stuff like that, it up and down, it'll do that as well. And it's actually in the Tuscany demo, there was a scene where
The one with the desk
we were
in front
messing
of you,
around with
or-
it. Well, no, in the Tuscany demo, when I was standing up.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah.
put it on. Alan was sitting down using it. I said, "Let me try something." And I was standing up and I was using it.
And he was higher.
I could lean over the rail, like not physically move, but lean over, and it would recognize that the
You're
DK2
moving
was
forward and
as well as
looking
looking
down.
down, and so
Yeah.
you kind of looked over the top. It was really cool.
Instead of just making you really sick by doing that.
Well, so my experience was today when we got it in this afternoon and we started playing with it a little bit this evening, and I had pretty bad motion sickness issues with the first kit. And this is supposed to improve it because it has a low persistence screen. It has a 75 hertz refresh rate instead of a 60 hertz refresh rate.
Yep.
The resolution
more
is
pixels.
better.
Yep.
Positional tracking.
Positional tracking, so as you move back or forward, it's supposed to, keep all that relative as well. Sitting down and playing some of the demos, I still had the same effect.
Yeah.
It was less, and I didn't get a whole, we weren't actually playing a game yet. Like some of the demos were very, very basic.
Some of them are
And
game-like.
a lot of the
but
games
yeah.
haven't been updated to support SDK 0.4. We had some bugs we were trying to work out still with some of the demos not starting, not recognizing the devices being attached. And so it's not, I can already tell you it's not 100% fixed for me.
Yeah.
And I don't get motion sick on planes or
I-
reading in cars or
Okay,
anything
so,
like that. So,
I get motion sick if I'm a passenger in a car,
but not when you're driving.
not when I'm driving.
That's typical. There's a lot. That's
even if
very
I'm
typical.
even if I'm looking where we're going in the car as a
Okay, that's
passenger,
just dumb.
like I'm kind of sensitive to that. This, I didn't feel motion sick at all, except for that one. What was the name of that
Well,
demo?
there was like the one with the
There's a demo
Viking ship ride
that's
where it goes
supposed
back
to
and
be
forth
like a
and goes in
Viking ship
circle.
ride that spins around, but it's just like one seat,
Yeah,
like that does that, and the seat is on a little motor that can flip it around 180 so that your head is down. Like your head would explode from blood pressure if this was a real thing.
nah.
No, it's
Don't be such
it's
a wuss.
flipping you around with your head down
Don't
on the
be
outer
such
part
a
of the circle,
wuss.
right? And so this thing, like the ride, like it starts off kind of slow, but then it like starts whipping around, and like it really, to sit through this whole thing and look at through the Oculus,
Yeah.
I was completely like I almost puked.
I would say so. What is interesting is when you were doing it, and I came up and I said, "Let me try this standing up." When I was standing up,
Yeah,
and I just was like rotating my body in a circle and looking around, like I felt no.
you didn't get
nausea
that
at
nausea
all.
feeling, yeah.
Right. What it happens is, I think for me, it is the disconnect between like moving your head and then moving the mouse. Like there are two ways
Yeah.
to rotate the camera,
Mhm.
and my body does not appreciate that.
Yeah,
Because that is not
if
a
you're
normal thing
if you're
that
only
occurs.
doing it with your head, then
Yeah.
it's more of a realistic thing.
But
in your
like,
mind,
so
right?
like Ben Kuchera from Polygon was here at the office yesterday. We were talking about some stuff, and he has, even with the DK1, he had no nausea at all. right?
Okay.
So there's some physiological difference between people that is making
yeah,
this occur.
it's something that you're going to want to try.
I still want to
if
try
you
that
can-
Dramamine trick, right? Because
Dramamine should help.
should
well.
it though? Because it's all fake. Like you're not actually
But
moving.
okay,
That's
so
what's interesting to me.
but
no,
along
it
that,
kind of numbs your semicircular canals, and then
Exactly.
I don't
yeah.
know, but along that thought
Where'd it go?
process, as far as what makes you feel nauseous, like that one demo I was talking about, like that's on this huge, crazy, spinny Ferris wheel thing or whatever.
Yep.
Like when it started to finally go up over the top, and you get that feeling like you're about to come over the top of the roller coaster, like the roller coaster is kind of, and you get that just gut, like your stomach's in your throat feeling.
Yeah, we
right.
knew that.
I was shocked, but I was getting it just like I was on a roller coaster. Like I know I'm not moving, but like it was just purely on optical, right? I didn't even have headphones in. There was no sound effects I was hearing really,
Right.
nothing like that. Just on what was coming into my eyes, it was making my body physically like just my gut felt
It's
like
good
it was
stuff.
moving up. And the first time it like went down and like where there would be a lot of G-forces, like I swear I almost felt like I was in some sort of a seat that could,
Yeah.
there was a little bit of that. Like I know there's no way in heck that was happening because it was just a chair, but that was shocking to me.
I saw somebody in the
best thing for this to not get sick, use it every day. For a couple of minutes,
you'd get used to it, yeah.
now and then, and you will get used to it. I mean, it's like that guy.
I've
I
wanted to
think
do
what
that with the
QuakeCon
first
2
one.
years ago that was running around in that thing, and he had the Oculus, and he was fine, and he
Yeah.
wasn't projectile vomiting. It's because he'd practiced and used
That's
it.
the other thing Ryan was talking about. Since Ryan, when he's standing up, doesn't really get that nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
Combine that with that newer version we were talking about with the use your socks
some
on
of
it.
like the VR.
One of those
they're
VR
called
things where you
halos.
walk, right?
Yeah.
Where you actually walk in the device. and
Other
with
than
a
it being
little-
like a lot of work, that sounds pretty cool.
You mean calorie burning?
like a lot of work. Like other than
I really need to have one of those things.
do I really want to sprint in Crisis 3 in real life to sprint in Crisis 3?
I beat
not
Crisis 3. I lost 50 pounds.
Probably not for very long, right? Like 'cause if you have a 3-hour
I'm going to play
gaming
this game
session-
for an hour, and after a week, I'm going to lose
That's
15
true.
pounds, but gain muscle.
You would potentially lose weight and gain muscle from gaming.
You know what else I could potentially do that is by going to run
That's
or
true.
go to the gym.
That's true.
But
yeah, I asked you to do that, and what did you do?
I slept it
Yeah.
as I
Good
should.
job on that.
So somebody in the
choice.
chat room asked, should they buy this? If you actually go to oculusvr.com/order, you can actually it's listed as it being for sale. I don't know like what the lead time is for this kind of stuff.
I think it's still a
It's
developer.
September 2014.
I mean, it is a dev kit, first of all.
It's called the development kit. It's very much in the title.
On purpose.
And we had, I think we actually had more trouble getting this one working, up and running, like getting demos to run than the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean,
I
that's,
feel like-
it's software, right? That could be fixed.
Yeah, but it hasn't been in a year.
Yeah, but
hasn't
it's
been-
actually, I would say in the year, the experience got worse
Yeah.
in terms of out-of-box
They give you no
Okay.
instructions on how to set it up out of the box.
This is not a consumer-ready product. Like, if you have $350 that you're okay getting rid of, and you just want something to play with, it's going to be something like you're going to get it and you can maybe spend an hour looking at some demos, but there's not a whole lot of games yet. And a lot of the games that supported DK1 don't run on DK2
Yeah.
because of how much they've changed.
Resolution is
the SDK.
different and everything. Yeah.
Ben was saying that a lot of them won't. Like the
Really?
Valve games TF2 won't play.
Huh.
Or at least not
they'll-
the same way.
I'm sure they'll update
and maybe
it
because
soon,
you have
right?
to update for like the positional
Yeah.
side of
But
things.
do
so.
you have to?
I think you have to. I don't know. Maybe not. But that's kind of my understanding on it.
You would want them to,
Yeah.
right?
So we'll have more on the Oculus as we spend some more time with it. That was just kind of our initial impressions that I wanted to share. Looks like we have a couple more news items. Let's get through these quick. HGST announces 12 gigabit per second SAS enterprise SSDs. Are we interested?
It's those have existed already. It's not like now they're making them.
Oh, they were announced, but now they're shipping?
No. Like there have been other enterprise SSDs that are 12 gigabit SAS. It's just a double channel SAS.
So it's two 6 gigabit paths.
It's a like multi-link 6 gigabit SAS, right? Is
Maximum,
it actually
read-
MST? Or they call it no, but it's like MST.
Read throughput of 1100 megabytes per second and
Yeah.
130,000 IOPS.
It's just a picture a rated pair of SATA SSDs, but except it's internal and it's not a RAID. It's just one channel, but it's like a combined.
But this is not like there's no consumer 12 gigabit per second kind of.
No, you would need like an enterprise
Motherboards and
grade
stuff really
RAID
at this point.
Yeah, you'd need a enterprise grade HBA or RAID card, and you'd need the connectors that can actually connect to that because the pins are on both sides of the port. Like it's
okay.
This is proprietary, not proprietary, but it's enterprise spec gear. You're not
Gotcha.
going to put this in your home PC.
And
Unless you have a lot of money.
yeah,
You'd be better off just going PCIe. I hate to say for SSDs,
fair enough. No, I think that's
Or buying those 2 terabytes of the Crucial.
or buying a pair of the 1
yeah,
tera.
for $399 each. Absolutely. you should.
Actually, that would be way cheaper than that,
Oh, clearly.
And
would-
faster.
And for consumer use, would perform probably just as well if you were only doing consumer stuff.
So AMD, we know about FreeSync. We know it's a thing.
Yep.
AMD released a FreeSync FAQ, if you will.
Frequently asked questions?
on- Yes, Alan.
Oh.
Put your
Frequently.
buttocks in the know.
Ask questions. So here's what's interesting. Scott wrote this up for us. It explains the standard much more thoroughly than they have in the past. For instance, it clarifies the distinction between DisplayPort Adaptive Sync and Project FreeSync. Prior to the fact, I thought that FreeSync became DisplayPort Adaptive Sync, and that was that. Now it is sounding a bit more proprietary, just built upon an open proprietary VISA standard.
Yeah, which was FreeSync. FreeSync was the proprietary AMD one.
right,
Adaptive
So-
DisplayPort is
right.
going to be the standard.
But I
Do
agree
they do
with
the
Scott
same
here.
thing or
the
no?
idea was
Yeah.
that when they announced adaptive VSync, that was going to be what AMD was doing. Not that you were going to take that and then build a proprietary thing on top of that.
Right. It was
standard.
supposed to be a standard.
Yeah. So, like in this fact, if you look at it, like the questions: what is Project FreeSync? What is DisplayPort Adaptive Sync? How are they different? Is DisplayPort Adaptive Sync the industry standard version of Project FreeSync? And if you read that answer, Adaptive Sync spec was ported from the embedded DisplayPort spec through a proposal to the VISA group by AMD. Adaptive Sync is an ingredient feature of a DisplayPort link and an industry standard that enables technologies like Project FreeSync.
Okay.
Right?
But not G-Sync.
Well, G-Sync
And I
existed
think-
before that, so.
Well, no,
here's
but
the-
I think that is sort of what they're going for, is to say that, we've handed off VESA this work that we've done as AMD to roll it up into DisplayPort standards.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to tweak around with it, see if we can maybe make it a bit better, but just like their Raptr app, they're saying, here, take it. It'll work on NVIDIA or AMD. We don't care. Just use
I'm
our
not sure
stuff.
that's the case.
That's not gonna work on
I don't
NVIDIA.
believe that FreeSync would work on NVIDIA GPUs.
Well, you mean on NVIDIA? No,
No, I
not
mean
so
on
much.
NVIDIA GPUs.
Well, you could
Adaptive-
probably code that in.
DisplayPort Adaptive Sync will.
Right, but what this fact is saying is that it seems to indicate that AMD is not simply adopting Adaptive Sync. It is creating a new technology built upon, using Adaptive Sync
Yes.
as the base and then doing their own custom
They're
proprietary
using that
things on top
protocol,
of it.
but they're tweaking it a little.
Yeah, so
So-
the classic, it'll run on anything, but it runs a bit better on ours.
Right.
Probably.
Download this.
So they go ahead. Ken.
It sort of sounds like adaptive VSync is the ability to change between any arbitrary refresh rate that the panel can do, but they still need to build the logic layer on top of it to make it a decent experience for gaming.
The panel still needs something.
What's interesting about this is that it kind of validates everything NVIDIA has been saying since AMD started talking about FreeSync. When we first saw FreeSync,
Yeah, NVIDIA said it's not that simple. Like when AMD tried to say,
it's not that
just
easy.
doing that
You're
already.
not just going to put out a monitor and have it work.
Yeah.
And it seems kind of from this that's maybe turning out to be more and more the case, right? One of the questions is, how is FreeSync different from G-Sync? It says there are 3 key advantages that FreeSync holds over G-Sync. No licensing fees for adoptions, no expensive or proprietary hardware modules, and no communication overhead.
But the monitor needs to be different. The panel needs to be different.
you have to have a new monitor.
No, the control circuitry needs to be different for
yeah,
the panel,
it's not
which
the
is
entire
built
panel.
into the new spec.
Sure.
You still have
But
to have a
that's
new
the
monitor,
same-
but there's not additional hardware. Like the G-Sync module is additional
has the
hardware
extra
that's
part.
going on.
It's
Okay,
got like
so
760 megs of memory on it.
It does.
Yeah,
Sure.
like Alan, you tore apart the monitor to try and do that.
I
Or
did
was
the
it you?
upgrade.
So
Yeah, it was you, Alan.
I did the upgrade.
Listen to this part, right? So they say no communication overhead. The last benefit is essential to gamers, as Project FreeSync does not need to poll or wait on the display in order to determine when it's safe to send the next frame to the monitor. Project FreeSync uses industry standard adaptive sync protocols to pre-negotiate supported min-max refresh rates during plug and play, which means frame presentation to the user will never be delayed or impaired by time-consuming two-way handshakes.
Time consuming?
I don't understand that.
How long does it take to send a signal back and forth on a cable? Like, I guarantee you it's not something you see.
So
Well,
so the idea of
you
like
know-
a pre-negotiated supported min-max refresh rates happen at plug and play. Like I get it. That's so the graphics driver doesn't necessarily have to know about that monitor existing
But
beforehand.
Visa
Hold on.
does that already.
Right, but G-Sync doesn't.
But
when you plug a
G-Sync has
G-Sync
like a
monitor
2 to
in,
3 millisecond delay for potentially from when it says, okay, I'm ready to present the next frame. Go ahead and send it.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Josh, are you talking about the thing that I actually saw when I reviewed the G-Sync panel?
No.
No.
Where if the panel's in the
Nope.
middle of a draw, then it has to
No.
wait. to
It's talking
send-
about it's talking what Josh is talking about is the fact that the monitor says, I'm done drawing, send me another one. I'm done drawing, send me another one.
Yeah, sure.
Right? But what this particular statement is talking about is the two-way handshakes. In NVIDIA, basically, rather than saying NVIDIA has to kind of hard code their driver to support every G-Sync monitor because they want to know the specifications of each G-Sync monitor.
Okay.
Right? And so that's the difference, right?
Okay, I get that. I get
so,
that.
but the Visa standard does is it allows you to send that data over like an EDID,
Okay.
EDID, to the graphics card. So the graphics card doesn't have to have seen or known about that monitor beforehand to,
Right.
to send a variable refresh rate signal.
But
there's
I ha-
benefits to that.
I have a
see.
counterpoint to that. NVIDIA probably could have went through the trouble to code that in as part of it. Mm-hmm. They probably could have. But they probably didn't bother because how many different versions of a G-Sync module are they ever going to make? It's, okay, now we have 4. Let's just,
Right.
now we have a 4K that goes up to 60 hertz, and we have a different panel that goes up to 144. okay, there's only so many revisions of this thing, and the driver.
So let me read one more thing
you know.
off this fact before we kind of get out of here. How does Project FreeSync utilize DisplayPort Adaptive Sync to determine the period of time a frame is displayed to the user?
Okay.
A Radeon graphics card compatible with FreeSync uses DisplayPort Adaptive Sync specification to automatically determine the minimum and maximum refresh rates supported by a dynamic refresh-ready system. Using this approach, no communication must occur to negotiate the time a current frame remains on screen, or to determine that it is safe to send a new frame to the monitor. By eliminating the need for ongoing communication and pre-negotiated screen update rates, FreeSync can execute highly dynamic changes in frame presentation intervals without incurring communications overhead or latency penalties.
I don't see how communications overhead is even an issue.
So the question would be, what is that 768 megs of memory on a G-Sync module for?
They have explained it to us before, but I don't remember.
I don't think they ever really did.
Okay.
I don't think they ever really told us what that memory was for. And so the assumption has been that it's used as a buffer.
Well, the question is it more memory than that on a 4K version of a G-Sync panel?
Good question. I don't know.
If it is, then it's a frame buffer.
I don't think it is.
But I really don't think
it sounds like a.
I really
ton
don't
of
think
memory
it's
for
well.
a single
Okay,
frame.
if it is a frame buffer, it's more
multiple
of a back buffer. Like in other words, if it needs to, because remember,
redraw the same frame.
It might need to redraw the same
But
frame.
768 megs seems like way too much for that. Right. I don't know.
But then again, it is cheap as dirt, so why not just toss in as much, the cheapest module going that's
future-proofing
over,
for other things,
512.
maybe.
I mean, I seriously doubt whatever that buffer is adding lag. Like we've used them. They're very fast.
Potentially could. Just because of the way, if you think of how frames are displayed, maybe it's got, in there kind of a front buffer, back buffer for them, but then they still need to replay, that the different buffers if they don't get new information in a timely manner, and so they kind of do the, kind of almost pseudo refresh. I forgot, Tom talked to us a bit about this, and I mean they do utilize that memory for a reason. It's not just sitting back there for shits and grins.
Well, I do know that like if you dip down below like the Asus panel that we reviewed and then I did the upgrade kit to and whatnot, if you got down to a slow enough refresh rate, there was kind of a window in there where the panel did have to do a redraw internally. Like the card didn't send anything new to it. Right.
Right. It was between 25 and 30.
It was between 25 and 30, hertz ish area, whatever that latency, whatever that delay was. The panel needed another refresh, right? I waited too long. I need to redraw. So the G-Sync at that point, the video card's not sending another frame, right? Like it's not ready yet. Say it was only doing 20 frames per second at that point. Where's it going to get the frame, right? It has to be in a buffer.
Well, I mean, the graphics card could send the same frame again.
It could.
If the graphics card was smart enough to know this is where the graphics card has to know the properties of the monitor.
And that's where the communication comes in.
Yeah. So the graphics card would have to know, without knowing the kind of the display decay of the monitor, it's impossible for it to know when to send that data.
Right.
Yeah, not only that, but the G-Sync little thing, it's running Android 4.4.2.
Right, and so it will never be updated. And
that's a problem
kind of stuck
too.
with that version of the OS forever.
I feel like because we're about to see pretty soon here more G-Sync panels, not just that one panel.
We got the Asus one in today.
Well, sure, it's in, but were you allowed to write about it yet? We know they're shipping overseas.
No, we can't.
Right? We got the panel.
For some reason, we have an embargo.
So they're already on round 2.
I would call this round 1.
Okay, well, consumer round 1, but
I think it's fair to call this.
But with a
one.
pretty big beta test.
I would call this round
not that
1.
big.
I would say not that big.
I don't know.
I would say not that big. I bet if we counted the number of upgrade modules they sent out, I would say it'd be maybe
less than 10,000.
Maybe a few thousand.
Well, the case remains that very soon there's going to be people that have them.
Oh yeah.
And you can't buy an NVIDIA or an AMD FreeSync panel.
Correct. You cannot.
Have we seen them?
Only at trade shows.
Yeah.
They showed one at Computex, the first.
But then again, how long have you had a G-Sync monitor for?
Since November, basically.
We did that.
Actually, that's true. You did have that one.
Yeah,
that one.
But you got a new one today.
But I don't even count that. Yeah, this is in my opinion, is the first actual G-Sync monitor to show up.
Yeah,
that's more what I meant.
it took a while. So I mean, we've talked about that for a long time. We will have more updates about G-Sync very soon.
Yes.
And both the kind of politics behind it in FreeSync, as well as the product behind it in FreeSync. So let's go ahead and move on to our hardware software picks of the week. I'm going to take the easy way out and recommend that people who are haven't upgraded their mouse in a long time look at the G402.
Yep.
It's I think it's shipping in like about a week or so. On the Amazon page, if you look here, it says it's $59 and it's shipping in 1 to 2 months. That's not correct. It'll be shipping within the month of August for sure, and I think by the middle of the month. So $59 for this mouse. It's a good mouse. It's a wired mouse. I still prefer wired mice.
Yeah.
It could be placebo effect, but I still preferred wired mice. And even if you don't, if you're worried about not being able to take advantage of that Fusion engine, you could always just install it and have mouse offs with your friends who can move the mouse the fastest. And maybe we kind of had a thought.
Are all your friends going to be around you on the mouse pad going?
Well, it's an interesting euphemism.
I would, yeah, that's true.
And in case anybody's wondering,
I'd recommend getting, you know how the Wii U remotes have those wrist straps that go around your wrist?
Yeah, you might need a little.
When you're using the Wiimote, you might want to do that for the mouse, right? Because if you accidentally it could go into somebody's chest or through a wall or something if you're trying to do that. So,
mouse-shaped indent in your wall.
And again, Logitech cannot stress enough that if your finger catches on fire, it is not their fault.
Yeah, or if you burn your fingertip.
It did feel like I was burning the
fingertip,
like the fingerprint off of my finger a little bit when I did it.
Just a little.
It's the perfect.
I was in a spy movie. I didn't do it. Who's up next, Jeremy? What do you got? And why is your page trying to get me to run Java?
Well, it's an old tool that hasn't really been used by anyone in a long time, but a discussion that Josh and I had earlier reminded me of the fact that people have gotten used to Vista and Windows 7 and Windows 8 auto-tuning receive windows. And so everyone has forgotten about maximum transition units, about receive windows, about all of the stuff that you used to be able to tweak on the TCP/IP stack that we desperately needed because what do you mean 100 megabits? That's not a thing. So we used to try and get every little single pinch of speed that we possibly could by making sure the RWIN was a multiple of MSS.
Yep.
And
optimized for your modem.
And they would do it by brand of modem.
That used to be a thing.
But it still is. Cisco doesn't want you to believe it's a thing. And I even put a little link there.
I just fixed DFSR with the MTU fix on our work network.
On your Cisco-based
backbone.
So how much of a difference did that make?
Between not being able to access
we went from DFS not communicating with each other, 4 different servers, to being rock solid by going down 4 bytes.
Really?
1500 to 1496. It worked.
My goodness.
No, and I passed it on because I've had it work for me as well.
Just reconfigured at the router, is what you're saying?
No.
At the
on
servers.
the client.
Oh, on the individual servers. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And it does friggin' work. And if you work with any Cisco certified professionals, they get very upset when you bring this up. But they've even got a set MTU tool for their VPNs because this is a known issue they don't like to admit exists, but it does. So, hey, kids, maybe fire up an old operating system and start playing with the TCP/IP stack because even to this day, there is still a lot of things that you can tweak in there that's going to fix a lot of problems that otherwise you're going to be bashing your head against a wall for a very long time.
I'm surprised. What OS were those servers running, Josh?
2012 R2.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Ours were a mix of 2003 and 8.
I mean, that should, if they're all on 2012 R2, that should just work.
It should just work.
How many times have I heard that?
If anything,
it should just work.
If I've learned anything from running the network in this office, is that it doesn't just work. Right? Our gigabit network runs at 30 megs per second between some systems.
Yeah.
And some systems runs at 110 megs per second.
Yeah.
So clearly, and they're all running Windows 8.1.
We should do some Wireshark.
We should just hammer shit.
We should just
that
catch-
doesn't work
we
and
should
replace
figure
it
out.
with something else until it works.
Yes.
That's not how you reduce the MTU.
No, that's how we do it.
Do it anyways.
Reduce it to pulp.
Josh, what do you got?
I've been using this stuff quite a bit in the past week, and I noticed as an interesting side effect, once I started wiping it off of the aluminum heatsink, it started to actually polish it.
Ooh,
So
nice.
What is
this
it?
Arctic Silver MX4, it's not only carbon-based thermal compound, you can polish your aluminum with it.
Wow. What is
20
it?
grams for $20.
What is
20 grams
supposed
is a
to
lot,
be?
isn't it?
Is that supposed to?
gonna-
Oh, it's carbon based.
Yeah, like diamonds.
Yeah, that's basically.
So they don't
diamond.
even have silver flake in there anymore?
I used to
Not
use
in this
Arctic
version.
Silver.
No, that's carbon based. So that is more like diamond.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it comes in a box. Like a
Oh,
wood
come on.
shell.
Remember when they were telling us that carbon black would be the next
Looks like
best?
toothpaste.
Yeah, I mean, well, diamond. I mean, carbon in a lattice that looks like
yes,
a diamond.
if I could
That's the
afford
best.
a diamond heat spreader, I would get one.
That's the best heat conductor. So yeah, that's 10
Diamond is?
on the scale, right? Isn't it like well, that's
And I
hardness,
used some
the
on my
hardness
head.
Scale.
but it's also
Very, very shiny.
it's also whatever I forgot what there's a thermal conductivity number for that. That's
And
like
diamond is up there?
diamond's the highest.
Oh, yeah.
Diamond's way up there. Yeah,
Diamond has
get
the
better.
highest thermal conductivity.
Yeah, graphene and
We should make all of our wires out of diamond.
Which well,
We should.
What? That it's
Yeah.
not. A,
yeah, De Beers is going to have something to
but
say
it doesn't
about
conduct electricity.
Oh, Monster
you-
Cable is going to get
thought you
Heat
said-
upset.
conductor,
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
thermal conductor, not.
That makes more sense. I
Yeah.
was, trying,
Well,
I was,
when
think,
we're
I was
usually
thinking of
talking about
metals.
conductors,
Yeah.
we're talking about
I was
one
thinking
kind.
about metals. I was like,
Heat.
really? Diamond over like
It's not a
Conductive heat.
semiconductor, it's a full conductor.
Yeah, diamond is a semiconductor.
All right.
You have to dope it.
So
if you
20
want it to
bucks for
conduct.
20 grams. That'll last you a lot of processor installs.
a lot.
Quite
but
a
Or
bit.
less so
polishings.
if you're polishing.
Yeah, if you use it just for polishing, then yeah, that's
You,
true.
you use some sandpaper and some Arctic ceramic and lap your
So when's the last time
processor.
anybody ever did any wet lapping with the heat sink?
Never.
Oh, it's been a few years.
It's been a long time.
Never.
Been a long time.
Maybe
or the
more-
top of a processor.
Maybe Maury should try that next.
Maury should
Well,
definitely
Maury's
try
tried
that.
deep-
But
Lit,
Maury
at
should
least.
just stay away from the sockets of any motherboard and CPU. I'm serious. It's just bad.
Maury
Yep.
needs BGA in his life.
Yeah.
All right. Alan, your
Oh,
last.
for 618 has read Hard OCP's alternative thermal conductors
Oh,
review.
the real mayo.
Oh yeah, the mayo and cheese.
Toothpaste.
Yeah, I just use toothpaste.
I thought the
It
thermal
worked.
paste was toothpaste.
Wait, it's not icy hot?
Go ahead. You should use the Arctic Silver and put some on your toothbrush, Ryan. And
Think about the
see.
polishing you could do with the carbon stuff.
Makes your teeth so silver. I mean, white.
No, get the carbon one. It'll be fine.
Then they'd just be black.
White is good. Alan,
right.
what's your pick?
So having used the Oculus now,
You used it for 12 minutes.
I used it for 12 minutes. I am a believer, but not to the point of running out and buying one. I'm a believer to the point where the developers need to get off their butts and start making cool games for it so that it actually starts to catch on. Because there's a lot of potential there, like a
Can you
real
guys
lot of potential.
imagine how much Alan would be on Facebook once they
What?
port Facebook to the Facebook Rift?
No.
Man,
That's
you
a
just-
horrible
you
idea.
just set him in a chair in a corner.
Listen,
have his little, have his little thing
I don't
in, you won't see him
need.
for weeks.
I don't need
One
birthday
thing, you'd have two of them.
notifications and cat videos showing up in
Then why
3D.
do you put it in
Whoa.
my feed?
I don't need it.
I need
What?
th-
I don't
It'll
put
be
it in
like
your
you're
feed.
walking through a museum, an art gallery of posts, and you're looking around. Oh, look at the fluffy kitten.
No.
I definitely need 3D
Look, this
cat
person
videos in my life.
rated as a
No.
whatever.
I definitely need 3D cat videos.
No. But I want like a 3D version of like the more recent remake of the Speed Racer movie. Like I want to drive.
You're literally the only
that.
person who liked that remake.
I liked.
That Speed Racer movie
No,
was
listen.
awful.
I only liked the 3D CGI portions of like the car driving.
I didn't
portions
even
of
see it.
That's the only parts I liked. I didn't like the character stuff. Was just goofy to me. But like I like 3D. You know, it was a colorful scene. Like you know.
Just go watch Tron again or something.
Take your favorite recreational chemical and then
Yeah.
go watch
Imagine.
that movie.
Imagine a
That's the only way you're
Tron.
going to enjoy it.
Imagine a Tron Legacy light cycle scene playing on that.
It would be cool. Way
That would be
cooler Speed Racer.
amazing.
It'd beat the old arcade game.
But see, I don't want to watch movies on it. Like,
Oh no, I don't want to watch a movie. Just like a
just
regular movie.
it's
No.
like
But what about cat videos?
No.
3D cat videos?
No.
Yes.
Still no.
It'd be like you could have all the cats you wanted,
I have cats.
but you could have more than two, but you wouldn't have to feed them because when you turn it off, like, I don't care, those cats are
That's
dead.
true. I'm gonna kill the cats.
Oh, that poor Tamagotchi.
Exactly. Right. Actually, one of the
You
demos
want
had
Miranda
a character in it that
Kerr,
looked like that. The one I showed you, Ken.
VR simulations.
Okay, yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at the end of the show. This is the part where I have to pick a winner. If you hadn't gone to the EVGA contest yet, it is too late for you. So, Ken, don't show anything that I'm about to show here.
Like this?
Yes, like that. Don't do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to go over
gonna
here
pick a
to
winner.
random.org. Everybody's favorite random selection spot.
That's true.
How many people?
And let's see. We start at 8334 and we go to 8495 and we pick our button.
Pick our button.
We hit the button. We pick our winner. 8423.
Josh Tack.
No.
Josh at
If you're not a registered user,
you're
I
a
guess I'll
winner.
just have to,
Remind me to edit that part out.
yeah. That's okay. They can't.
Remind me to edit
access it.
that part
There's
out.
emails and IPs.
Steve
yeah,
McGinnis.
That
Steve-
sounds like a fake name.
Steve McGinnis. If that is a fan
not
name.
Gabe McGinnis.
You have
Steve.
won the EVGA X10 Torq
Is he in the chat?
mouse.
The Torx.
Are you in the
X10.
chat?
Steve McGinnis. So I will leave your name up. And again, if you you didn't win the mouse, I'm very sorry. I wish I had mice for everybody. But if you go to PCPro.com and you look for the post that is titled "Podcast Listeners and Viewers Win an EVGA Hadron Air Case," you can still fill out that form. And on next week's show, we'll announce the winner of the EVGA Hadron Air Mini ITX case. So you still have time to enter for that. Even if you didn't watch a live stream, if you're listening to this after the fact or watching it on YouTube, I will put a link in the YouTube description for that. Another reminder, pcper.com/podcast. It's where you can find the RSS feeds, the MP3 files, ways to subscribe, past episodes. YouTube.com/pcper is where we have all of our podcast videos, as well as all the other videos we do, which we've been doing a lot of recently. And then, of course, pcper.com/live. If you want to watch us do this live, you can sign up for a mailing list on pcper.com/subscribe. We got all kinds of URLs for you to go to and enjoy our wonderful, wonderful content built by all these people, plus more people who aren't on the show. So that's it. We will see you guys next week. We may have an odd show. Alan and I are both going to be out of town, but we'll see who's going to be on Skype still to do the show from their various locations. But for now, I'm Ryan Shrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Malentano.
Bye, guys.
Hey!